Greetings and salutations, friends. I'm Prince Amari, hypnotherapist, relationship coach, and matchmaker, and I help gay singles master their romantic magic. And in this video, we are going to talk about the 4 elements of passion. When we meet someone, we're into someone romantically. First of all, we have to be attracted to them, but that attraction isn't just, oh, you're cool, we vibe really well. That attraction has to be physical. If you're not attracted physically to the person you're into, guess what, friends? You're friends. In order for that attraction to grow, to continue, to be sustained and maintained, passion or chemistry is what we look for in the beginning. When we've been together about 2 years, passion for all of us is going to naturally level off. Why is that? Well, let's get into those elements. And I call them the elements of passion because this connects to the 4 love elements, right? And so my new book, which will be out soon, if it's not already out, depending on when you're watching this, is called Love Alchemy. Love Alchemy is based on the 4 elements: air, fire, water, and earth. And each of those elements is grounded in a romantic energy. Those 4 elements, air, fire, water, and earth, make up everything, and the different combination of those energies are what form whatever we're experiencing, including our personalities. And you can actually find out which element dominates your personality by going to lovealchemytest.com. That's my gay compatibility quiz for all of you who are looking for bae, or maybe you've already found bae and you want to know if he's the one, if they're the one. Go to lovealchemytest.com and find out. And we're walking. So the air element is the energy of clarity, communication, and commitment. Water is the element of emotional intimacy, harmony, and connection. Fire is going to be the energy of passion, of confidence, and chemistry. The reason passion is kind of automatic when we first start a relationship, and then if it fades, we think there's something wrong with the relationship, is because initially we're feeding it a lot of those requirements that it takes for fire to thrive. The earth element is the energy of stability, of boundaries, healthy boundaries, including our self-worth, and consistency. If there's not enough earth, there's not enough consistency. The relationship is very unstable, unsteady. You've probably experienced that, right? Those emotionally unavailable men who don't show up when you want them to. I digress. Check out that other video. So to sum those up, one word for each element: air is commitment, water is connection, fire is chemistry, and earth is consistency. And so passion is related to that fire element. And there are technically 4 elements of passion, and they each relate to the other elements. So air element is gonna be curiosity. When we first meet someone, we ask tons of questions. They're a mystery to us. We don't know them well, so we're really curious and fascinated by who they are, what they could be. And because we're curious, they're gonna be more interesting to us naturally. The water element is all about connection. This is our emotional arousal. You can think of emotional arousal as the gasoline. So air is the oxygen, emotional arousal is the gasoline. As we connect with someone else, our emotions start to move. And also as we do things with that person, our emotions also move. And then we also have novelty. Because the person is new, it's exciting. It's something we haven't done before, and anything new and fresh automatically gets us excited, and that's where the passion comes from. Now, what about the earth element? Earth is about consistency, stability through time. So what happens when you put earth, dirt, sand on a fire? It goes out, right? So naturally, at about the 2-year mark, we've gotten really used to being with our partners, and now there's a lot of earth energy in the mix. And unless we keep feeding the fire with the air, the water, and more spark, the earth energy of consistency and time is naturally gonna put that flame out. So while we feel safe and comfortable, we won't feel as excited and passionate through time without doing the work of keeping the fire fed. Another way you can think of the earth energy is when you burn the wood, it's naturally gonna create ash. And if there's a lot more ash than wood or air or the gasoline, then that's also gonna put the fire out, right? The natural progression of the cycle is just gonna produce more of the earth, consistent, stable, boring energy over time, unless we make it a habit to keep feeding the fire. And we call it work only because if we aren't used to doing the things that it takes to keep a fire going, we have to be really intentional about it, and it's not a habit. So it takes a lot of emotional, mental willpower to get ourselves to do things that are outside of our comfort zone. But if we make these things a habit, it's easier for passion to stay alive in the future or to rekindle the passion if it naturally levels off. So here's what you do if you want to keep the passion, the flame, the fire alive for the long term. First of all, add more air, right? So as I mentioned earlier, the more curious we are about our partners, the more fascinating they become. So we think after we've been with someone for a while that we know everything about them, and that assumption stops us from asking questions to find out more. If we assume, which is the air element, that communication, that thought, right? If we assume that I know everything, I don't have any more questions. And if I don't have any more questions, you don't have any more answers, because who gives answers to questions that weren't asked? So you want to ask questions of your partner, and not like, how was your day? What did you do today? Not report questions. You don't want the weather or the news. You want rapport questions, things that really help you to get at the deeper aspect of who someone is or the new aspect of who someone is becoming. So questions like, what's a new goal that you have that we haven't talked about before? What's something that really fascinated you this week that you didn't expect? So don't ask questions about the relationship, about kids, about family, about work. Don't ask those report questions. Ask things that really get at the deeper components of who your partner is or the new things that they're becoming, okay? So that curiosity makes them interesting. It's not that they're automatically interesting on their own, because we're all interesting on our own, actually. But if we aren't asking questions, they aren't interesting to us. Boop, okay? So then emotional arousal, right? You want to add more of that gasoline by getting the water energy moving, getting the emotions moving. And some simple ways that you can do that are go do something that naturally causes your emotions to get aroused. Like go to a scary movie. That heightened emotion, oh my God, the emotion's moving, right? Go to a kickboxing class. Go do some zip lining. Go do anything. Take a new salsa class. Anything that gets you to move your body and therefore move that emotional fluid energy. But the key here is to do it with your partner. Because as you do those things together, you're both feeling those same emotions, which creates more emotional resonance between you. That compassion, right? Which is when we are feeling the passion together, because we're feeling those same emotions, we're on that same emotional wavelength. And that will also increase the passion that we feel with and for each other. And then with the fire element, do something new. Over time, with that earth element, we keep doing the same things that we've already been doing. They might have been new in the past, but now they're not new anymore. We're used to them. They don't excite us as much as they once did because they're not new, right? Novelty, that freshness, creates and feeds the passion. So you can think of novelty, newness, as adding another spark or adding more flame to the fire, all right? If you ever have a fire going and you light another piece of wood and add it to the fire, that's what novelty is. You're adding a new piece of wood, okay? A new piece of wood. You know, we're not gonna talk about that. That's a different relationship conversation, okay? Great, and we're walking. So if you add all of those things, that counteracts the natural earth element that's already present because you're spending more time and physical presence together. So that's how you keep the passion alive. Those are the 4 elements of passion. Air is all about the curiosity. Water is about that emotional arousal. Fire is about the novelty. And over time, naturally, earth is gonna bring you the consistency that is keeping the relationship stable. If you'd like to know more about love alchemy, about passion, about all things relationships, transforming your love blocks into relationship gold, developing your dating skills, and enhancing your energetic magnetism so that love becomes inevitable, definitely check out the links below, especially the link to get my new book. Love Alchemy, how to transform your love blocks into relationship gold. That's it for this video. See you next time. Love, peace, and glitter, friends.